Going live. What do you got there? Going live. Hey, we're live. It's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope you're all doing well. It's a Monday. It's about 5:41. You hate Mondays? Okay. Crazy boy. All right. So he's giving me some glasses. Can't see the hockey. Okay, let me borrow the hockey stick. So we got our hockey stick for a talking stick. Today we're talking 5 a.m. Mester Scrum.
About hockey.
No, we're not going to talk about hockey. It's not a hockey show. It's not a hockey show. It's about Agile and Scrum and some practical and tactical ideas. I know, but I got to say it on the show. Yeah. So about tactical and practical ideas on Agile and Scrum for you to apply. And tactical means pointed things that you can adjust to get to your mission. So it's very tactical. Okay. And then just talk of ways to get home to your family and friends. And apparently everybody's excited that I'm back from being away for the weekend. And decided they had to wake up for 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. So today I talked a couple things. Please like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, right? You know, we talked about.
Where's the bell?
Where's the bell? Are we this little bell?
No.
Not that bell? This bell?
No, it's not that.
Okay. He's got it. Eddie's gonna get a bell. I don't know what that's about. Surprises on Mondays. Anyway, hope you're doing well. It is a Monday. Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired after this weekend. So let's talk about two things. One thing I saw on LinkedIn, there's a remote forever summit going on today, talking about remote Agile and things like that. So I shared it up on our site, and I'll probably share it to my connections. Another connection shared it yesterday. So starts today. I'm gonna give it a shot, check it out, and see what new things you can do. Especially, I did get a coaching. We're gonna coach with soon, and a couple things. I just finished my 3 days of ACC training, so that was kind of rough. And now we're back here, and I hear a bell coming. What bell did you get, Ed?
A Liberty.
A Liberty bell? Oh, wow. Let me see. Oh, cool. So now we actually have a bell that's a Liberty bell for Philly, right?
Yeah.
So we can say ring the bell, and it looks like a Philly bell. Awesome. Hey, thank you very much, Ed.
I got a game too.
You got a game?
The bell got games.
You got games? Okay, good. It sounds like Dad wasn't here, but somebody had fun over the weekend. I hope you all had fun and do your Monday morning. What fun did you have over the weekend? What's your next fun thing planned? And what's blocking you from having fun? Apparently, the kids in the family, they played Taurus in Philly, so they had a good time. So, talking about that remote conference, it'll be a chance to check it out. And since we all have like remote people now, and it's good to know, right? So take that as something in your box today. I think it's 3 days.
See what I have?
Not right now. I don't know what that is. Fast track. Okay.
It's a game.
It's a game. Okay, cool. But it is Monday, and it's crazy, as you can tell already, so we're not going to go into a lot of stuff today. The only one thing I wanted to talk today, besides the remote, we had our hockey stick for the talking stick, so you saw where's the hockey stick at? What you do with your hockey stick? Where'd you go? Oh, it's behind me. So when you're having your
Hockey stadium?
No, not a hockey stadium. You want a real hockey stick? You can go to a hockey store and get one of these things used. This is Eddie's because hockey season's coming. He starts in like 2 weeks, I think, a week or so. 2 weeks, actually. So when you do daily scrum, you want one person to talk at a time. This is something to hand and go across the room. They always talk about the hockey stick. This freak out your team. Give them a real hockey stick. They're like, oh, wow, that's really the hockey. It's really the talking stick. It's a hockey stick.
Get it your size.
Get it your size. Eddie says you can size it up. So that's something for you to consider during hockey season, because there's always people going out giving out used hockey sticks. You can go to a local hockey arena and probably buy all kinds of hockey sticks for like a couple bucks. But the worst thing is they might crumple up some paper and make it in a game during the office and get two of them. So make sure you have two hockey sticks so they can play against each other. So I don't know if I ever encourage that in the office because you might poke an eye out with that crumpled piece of paper. So be careful. You'll poke an eye out, right? You poke an eye out. So I want to talk about a game, penny game, because I was thinking about a lot of these games you do. And then it's great to have them in the retro, but then the question, what do you use them for, right? So there's a thing called the penny game that I used to do in some of my classes. I'm going to draw it out. So it's two phases. So there's a phase 1 and a phase 2, okay? And in phase 1, you start with, so you have a table of like 4 or 5 people. It's about the size of the Scrum team, right? And you have, and I'm just going to do it, you have 20 pennies. 2, 5, and then just imagine there's 20 of them here, right? So imagine there's 20 pennies here. And the first person counts all 20 pennies and then hands them off to them. And there's a person here. There's a person here. There's a person here. And a person here. And it goes in a circle, right? And there's a timer. So there's a fifth person. There's a fifth person. And that person is the timer. Okay, they record the time. Ooh, gotta bring it up a little higher. So there's a fifth person as a timer. So this person so they start the clock when the first person starts counting. And they count to 20. Then they take all 20 and move it to the next person. And then they count 20. And then they count to the next person. They move and they count 20. When the last person counts the last 20, you stop the clock. Right? And you record that time. So they do 20, and then they do 20, then they do 20, then they do 20. And that kind of shows this the traditional process. Let me count all 20. I'll do my work, and then I'll hand it to the next person. They'll do all 20, and they'll do their work, and they'll hand it to the next person. In phase 2, where you have the 4 people, right? They do 5 at a time. It's the same 20. And there's another 20. Right? But they do it 5 at a time. So they move, and they do 5, and they do 5. As soon as they finish those 5, they move 5 over. And then they start counting the next 5. And then so on. And then the timer records the time, right? And then usually what happens is the time it takes to get all the way around by 20 by 20 is a lot longer than the time it takes to do 5, 5, and 5. And the idea is that you do a little bit of work and pass that work along to test, right? So you run that, and it kind of shows the team that it's quicker to work in iterative little smaller components. So don't try to do the entire story. Make a bunch of tasks that make up the story. Say, here's a task. Then maybe they hand it to a tester or developer. Or let's say if you're a back end or front end, maybe the front end person does a little bit of task, takes that information, hands it to a back end person to develop the back end, and then that person, gives it to a tester and so on. And then here we have a reviewer who would review it. So this would be like the PO. Maybe this is a tester. Maybe this is a back end developer, right? Maybe this is a front end or something like that. And they do a little bit and they just move around. Now, it's a great, these exercises are great. And one of the things I want to talk about this week is these exercises and then how to apply them in the office. So you do this during the retro. And we're done and everybody's good. And great, we did an exercise. Now what? So what I would suggest is take a story and apply that they used to do where they would do a big story, a lot of work, okay? And apply this methodology and say, okay, here's my challenge for the team. This sprint, we're going to take a story. And we're going to break it up in tasks in such a way, that I can do pieces of the task, and I'm going to hand it off to the next person for them to integrate. So, like, let's say, I'm just going to make a simple story. So let's say there's a page with all this data on it, a pie chart maybe, maybe a bar graph, maybe some more data. Okay, so I'm making this web page, right? Okay, be careful. So I make this web page. So let's break this down. Instead of doing all this stuff and hand this there, okay, face one person. We're gonna start with this top part. I'm gonna code the front end for that, and then I'm gonna send it to the back end people to populate the data, and then it's gonna go to the test people. And while they're going through this round, that front end person now starts working on this pie chart. They're working on the pie chart, and as soon as they're done, they hand it off to the next one. As soon as this person's done, and they do that, and then I do this next bar chart, and then I do this last thing. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 pieces, right? So as I build this, I just want to do this. So my challenge is, which is different from what these classes do in these classrooms and what people tell you in these books. Now I should take that entire retrospective book, retrospective for teams. Take the retrospectives and that would be a good book. Take those activities and apply them to actual work in the office. How about that? So now we're going to take what we learned in the class, run through the retrospective, the process of doing the penny game, right? This is the penny game.
Can I see the penny game?
Yeah, my drawing. You want to see what I drew? Does that make any sense to you? No. Says it doesn't make any sense. But if you were going on the show, maybe it would. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Give us a comment. Let me know. But do the penny game in a retro so they can see, especially new teams or even existing teams. Let's see your team is just slow and they're doing very stovepipey on the work. Challenge them to do the penny game. Challenge them to take a story that they usually, which is a big story because you've been working with them hand in hand, and have them break it up into tasks. Take the UX or the drawings and break it down. Okay, this is typically one big story. Let's play the penny game. Do a little bit, pass it, do a little bit, pass it, and then just run through the system. And why that tester's waiting on the end, they could be writing test scripts for how they want to run the test. So that's what I want to show today. And with that, we're gonna end it because it is a Monday and it's someone's playing over here. We got a lot of noise going on in the background. So we're gonna remember, like us, give us the thumbs up, right? This is 5am Mester Scrum. This is episode 119. We're coming to an end. It's on a Monday. And ring the bell. We got our Liberty Bell now. Sweet, right, Ed? This is cool. Yeah. Good job. Thumbs up, Ed. And I hope you have a good Monday and try the penny game if you're doing some retros and you see your team doing large stories and taking them to the end of the sprint. Now this is all practice. I didn't say it. But when you get that waterfall comes down at the end of the sprint, try the penny game on them and see if you can't break up those stories so they don't go through the whole sprint. With that, see you later. Goodbye. Take care. Have a great day.